I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Mr. Molso, can you read our mission statement?
Mission of the Marshall Public School District is to educate, support, and prepare all learners for success.
Thank you. Next item is approval of the agenda.
So moved. I'll second.
Moved by Jeff and seconded by Bill Molso. Any discussion on the agenda? Not, I'll call for the vote. The agenda is approved. Next item is a public forum. Is there anybody from the public who'd like to approach the board? Moving on. Presentation on our Career and Technical Institute. Welcome, Amanda.
All right. So I'm here today to present on career and technical education. I'm just going to give a little bit of background about what it is and talk about where we're going as far as Marshall Public Schools. So first of all, what is CTE? Career and technical education programs are a sequence of courses that integrate academic knowledge with technical and occupational knowledge and skills to provide students a pathway to post-secondary education and careers. That's a mouthful, right? Is what we're doing is we're working to help our students learn and understand the skills that they're going to need, whether they're going to choose a pathway to college or eventually a career. Some of our students will leave high school right away going into the career field. So we want to help prepare our students for that journey. The work in the Minnesota educational system is really driven and strengthened, is driven by the Strengthening Career and Technical Education for 21st Century Act. For us who work in education, we call that's part of our Perkins funding that we get. So there's a lot of push to really strengthen and grow the skills that our students are gonna need for the future. Minnesota organizes CTE programs into 6 different career fields. I think on the next slide, you'll get to see a picture of the Minnesota career wheel. However, each field shares a common feature and they're divided into career clusters and career pathways. Work-based learning is a key component of all 6 of the careers. And we're going to talk a little bit about our work-based learning project process here as well in the presentation. Program approval is required for CTE programs. That also includes the work-based learning program. This is to ensure that our districts are following and implementing all of the requirements and the components for CTE programming. With that, we have access to state and federal funding that supports our CTE program. So when we have our CTE programs and they're following all the requirements by the state, we can apply for funding for reimbursement for some funds for maybe it's supplies or maybe it's to help with part of the teacher salary. So. This is the Minnesota Career Fields Cluster and Pathways. We have our own that we'll get to as well when we dive into specific to Marshall Public Schools. But as you can see here, the state has divided into 6 different career fields. And then within those career fields or clusters, they have different categories. So for example, if you look at the career field of agriculture and manufacturing, they're broken into smaller components as well. We took that and made it into one of our own. So as we did that, oops, sorry, I'm jumping ahead. Our work-based learning process here in Marshall. Work-based learning is a structured educational program. It provides students with the opportunities to get instruction at both school and at an employer's work site. This is an important part of this is the connection that is between the school, the classroom, and potential future careers. It also helps our students become college ready as well as career ready. There are different components of work-based learning that we look at. One of them is the experiential learning. That encompasses the career development of career awareness, exploration, and preparation. These activities will provide students with opportunities to learn specific career fields and about those occupations in those career fields. So for example, we have a CNA program that we have, but that's one program in part of our whole health careers field or pathway. Students could also take other classes through programming like Intro to Health Careers, where they can learn more about different health careers. CNA is a specific class, and in the future we hope to be able to offer more. We also do things like industry tours. Students have gone out to Bendrite with our welding program. We bring in guest speakers. We've had speakers come in and talk about possible job opportunities with our CNA program with Avera. We have job shadowing opportunities. We have students that might go out to a facility or a career, an employer and just job shadow. This last year we had our career fair, and a number of the employers that were there for the career fair talked about job shadowing opportunities with a number of our kids, just to spike interest and get them to see what they do at that job and to learn more about it. We have service learning, we have internships, and we have apprenticeships. All of these fall under the category of experiential learning. Career awareness activities are intended to provide students with an initial understanding of the work in general. This would be similar to like our healthcare careers class. They typically take place within the classroom. Teachers are going to instruct, or they're going to bring people in to talk about that career. Work-based learning continues with career exploration. Exploration activities are intended to assist students in the development of career readiness skills and to increase their awareness of career options through those hands-on experiences. They're traditionally outside of the classroom with a local business or a community partner, and it's embedded within the CTE course in work experience classes. Career exploration activities can begin in middle school and continue through a student's entire academic career. One of the things we have been doing this year is our PAIS lab. We're starting to have students kind of exploring and get a little hands-on with different career-like activities through our PAIS lab. And as that continues, as well as we have our egg classes at the middle school now as well. As that continues, they're starting to learn more about those skills in classes so that they can take them in high school. Career preparation activities are intended to help students develop technical skills and employability skills. Employability skills is one of the number one thing that we hear when we talk to most of our employers about what we can do to help our students. And so those preparation activities are really there to help those students learn about the job, understand the skills that they're needed for the job, and help them secure the job. With our work-based experience program, there are some legal requirements from the state. With our work-based learning program, students have to get a minimum of 40 hours to do the program, and with our specific work-based program, every student at Maytech can enroll in a work-based program, and they need a minimum of 40 hours every quarter, and they can earn credit. And at the high school, they have a work-based program, and that's embedded within the student's schedule. Work-based learning for alternative school is a little bit different than traditional school, but we do have it at both sites. So then diving in here to Marshall, this is more about MPS. I asked Emily to upload. You should have access to, we have our own personal career wheel. There's a lot of information on that career wheel, and the print gets a little small, but you can see all of the different opportunities and classes that we would offer for the different career fields. One of the things that we were tasked with this last year, as we've been diving into and really pushing our CTE, we wanted to break that down to be more clear and concise for our students. As we move to our Career and Technical Institute, we broke down each of these individually, and we made our institute brochures. So when students are coming in and talking to their counselors, or maybe even a teacher or a business teacher, and they're saying, I really want to be in the healthcare field, I really want to be in nursing. They can take the Healthcare Career Institute brochure and look at the classes at MPS that can help them get to that level and get to that, what they would need that would help them get to that level. So you should have attachments to 3 of our institute brochures. The front side just kind of talks about the class, the requirements, the skills the student needs to have for those. I think I want to this what they need, potential courses that they might have, and then we tried to give them kind of a 4-year required class look. Our required classes are the same across the board. Students have to have so many credits in math, English, science, social studies. And so we kind of put that on there too so students don't forget about those. And then the back side of it shares the different classes that they could take that would help them with that career field. So for this particular one on the presentation, students could take performing arts classes that would help build the skills that they would need for that type of career. Oops, I did hit that twice. I didn't think I did. So where are we at with Marshall Public Schools and our Career and Technical Institute? Our plan is to open our new Career and Technical Institute in the fall of 2023. We'll get the opportunity to go tour the building this evening. The advanced welding program actually has been in place at Maytech for the past 2 years. Students have been earning the Lincoln Electric certification. We switched gears a little bit 2 years ago and we moved to the Lincoln Electric certification after having many conversations with local welders. They felt that the Lincoln certification would be sufficient for them to get careers right out of high school. That will move to our new Career Institute, Technical Institute site. We will also offer advanced automotive. Their students will earn a Snap-on certification. Those are the same types of certifications that you would see someone if you had to get your car worked on and you went to an automotive dealer or automotive place to get it fixed. That's the kind of certification that the mechanics would have. We continue to offer our Certified Nursing Assistant program through Minnesota West. We've done that for a number of years at Maytech. We continue to offer 4 classes every year. That's anywhere from 40 to 60 students leaving Marshall Public Schools with some CNA background. They do have to take a test to test out to get their actual certification. Last year, after the pandemic, that number was a little bit lower because they had to offset the test and they had to schedule them differently. And so students, years pre-COVID, students would take the class and then they would go test right at the end of the class. COVID made the challenge of having testing take place much later after the students had finished the class. So we did see a little drop in the numbers of students passing the class on the first try. I do know this year we've had a number of students take the test and a few of them are trying for a second time, but they're really encouraged and they're really excited about passing and earning their certification. Hopefully at the end of the year I'll have more numbers from Minnesota West on how many students have passed that class. And then we've had many conversations about this is the start. We have to start somewhere. I think we could have easily jumped in and said, let's bite off more than we can chew, but we know that we had to start somewhere small and we want to expand. So when we expand, other considerations we've been having conversations about is how can we continue with healthcare courses and then the construction trades. And then as far as the building itself, you'll get to see tonight, inside of the building, it's exciting to see that the building has been gutted and it's ready to start the next process of building in our classrooms. The electrical panels have been installed. We have ordered, at the point of making this presentation, we've ordered the lifts for the automotive. However, we've had many conversations about ordering other supplies for the building. We have hired an administrative assistant who her job will officially start in August, but we are gonna request tonight for some hours to help with some of our partnerships. And that's a big part of where we're heading also. We want to continue to create those partnerships with our community and local employers, kind of that grow your own mentality. We want to know what they need. We have many high demands for high paying jobs in our area. So how can we help our students get to those careers? We want to provide real life hands-on experiences. If you haven't been over to Maytech for a CNA, to visit a CNA classroom or see our welding classroom, please do. I think you would be surprised at some of the things the students have done. Just recently, we had our welders do a real life experience. One of our basketball hoops keeps blowing over in the wind and breaking, and it's all kind of wonky. And so I went to Mr. Braithwaite and said, "Here's a real life example. I need you to fix this." And they did an awesome job. They went outside, they looked at it. I kind of had a different vision in mind, and when they came back, they fixed the base of the hoop, and it's all straight now, and it's not getting blown over in the wind anymore. They've also taken on a few other real-life projects. We have some benches at Maytech that they pulled out and made sure we're still stable and sturdy. So some of that process of real life right now in the moment, how can we fix this? Again, we want to prepare our students to be career ready after graduation. And so that's continued conversations of what can we do to help them get there. We want them to have the skills and technology to be successful in the future. Technology is really at the forefront. Our students have technology with them all the time, but how can they use it to be a positive thing, positive part of their life? And then we really have to look at those industry standards and work skills. We, pairing with different local employers with the partnership, having those conversations about what are the industry standards. We were able to secure a LIFT grant with the partnership with Bendrite, and we've had Bill Martin's come in a couple different times, and we've had the opportunity for our welders to go out to their site to physically see what the site looks like and to see welding in action. And we want to keep that partnership going. We really want to be career driven. Whether they go off to college to get to the career or they go right into the career, we really want that career driven mentality. And then we really want returns on our investments. We're putting a lot into this, and we want to see the success not just for us as Marshall Public Schools, but for our students as well. Any questions?
So kids have already done their schedules for next year, picked their classes. What grade, have they picked classes for next year?
So the students have gone through and did their request for classes. The actual putting them in the schedules doesn't take place quite yet.
Yep.
So students for the advanced level classes, they can pick on their schedules that they're interested in or they want them, and then we go through and we make sure that they have all the requirements to meet what they need to get to that class.
Is it freshmen that are mostly signing up for these, or is it?
This is actually more of our upper class. Right now, we're still working through some of the details with like transportation out to the site. Obviously, they have to be able to get there. So a lot of times, and with them being advanced classes, our students haven't had the experiences with like welding 1 and welding 2. And that's when they can take welding 1 and welding 2 is in their freshman year. So once they kind of have that exposure to some of the welding basics, then they can start to request that advanced level welding class.
With the Lincoln Electric certification, is that taught by Midwest faculty or our faculty teaching that now?
That's our faculty. So we have, Mr. Braithwaite has gone through the training, and he now offers there's 2 different certifications. We're just offering the first basic certification right now with a few different checks of boxes and making sure we have some things in place. One of the requirements would be to have so much % of the equipment in the lab being Lincoln Electric equipment. We could offer an advanced welding course. Mike went through the training and has been certified himself, and now he certifies our students. We'll be similar with what our automotive process will be too with the Snap-on. Mike will go through the certification or has gone through the certification, and then he'll be able to certify our students.
Any other questions? Thanks, Amanda. Appreciate it. Thanks, Amanda. We're excited to see the process out there.
It's exciting.
The
It's getting more real as we get out there. So.
Thank you. Next item is our consent agenda. I'll need a motion to approve.
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Bill Swope and seconded by Sarah Brink to approve our consent agenda. I'll call for the vote. That is approved. Next item, board updates, reports. Anybody have anything?
Yeah, I had a meeting with the collaborative, the Murray and Lyon County Children's Collaborative, and we awarded the RFPs. And for Marshall Public Schools, we awarded English language family engagement night experience with under Kari Eller's direction for $1,750. We've been doing that almost every year now for about 4 or 5 years. The other one I was really excited about as well is Bonnie Parsons wrote for a grant for our high school kids and our Maytech kids to bring in a speaker. His name is Sam Easton, to speak to students about his experience suffering with depression and suicide. And we just felt it was a great time to do that because we've got a lot of kids under stress. And my understanding from Bonnie is this is quite a speaker. He's been in the pit. And it's for all of our high school and Maytech kids, about 950 kids, she said. So that was for $2,800. So that's money coming from the collaborative to Marshall Public Schools.
Very good. Anybody else? Next item are discussion items, a second review of policy 606 to 610. Any questions? The next item is a first review of policy 611 to 615. Any questions on those?
Like the other first reviews we've had recently, these are just the regular updates, nothing significant changing in any of them.
Okay. Discussion item, graduation rates.
I just wanted to call these out a little bit. These were released last week. These are the 2022 graduation rates, and some good things in there. Just as a couple reminders, when we look at graduation rates, we look at a couple different things. There's lots of ways to pull the data, but we look specifically at the 4-year rates when we're looking at our high school. That's traditional 4 years to get from freshman to graduation. And then we look at our 7-year rates as well. We consider our ALC students. The ALC exists because we have students that are credit deficient, struggling towards graduation. So we look at a 7-year rate for those. So looking in 7 years' time, what percentage of students has graduated to. So that's kind of when we look at those 2 points, and those are measurements we use. So like our World's Best Workforce Plan and our school improvement plans and that sort of thing. We were excited this year to see our 4-year rate for the high school was at 92.43%. The statewide average was 83.6%. So it was some good data, some good information there. There's a few talking points on there. I won't go through all the points, but I included the data just for you to look at. One thing that stood out to me was the free and reduced rates, graduation rates. We look at students who qualify for free and reduced lunches. That continues to be our lowest percentage of graduation. And that really aligns to the work we're doing within World's Best Workforce as well. We're focusing on reducing that gap, meeting one-on-one needs and trying to get all students to graduation. So, yeah, a lot of data points, a lot of different ways to break it down, but those were the talking points. And here are some key things that we noticed we wanted to call out tonight.
Very good. Thanks, Jimmy. And do I adjourn it now, or do I adjourn it out at the site?
We'll adjourn out there.
Okay. I will dismiss then.
All right.